glad to have you today. My goodness, we have so much happening in real estate. I'm excited to be here today, excited to recap some of the things that I found most interesting over the past week in real estate. I'm going to give you that quick digest, and then we're going to go into what I believe is top of mind for home sellers across the US right now. Have you heard the new commission changes now have been pushed to August for the changes to go into effect? So this just came out last week, and originally it was supposed to be July. I thought that was a tall feat to accomplish by July, getting all of the MLSs to remove all of the compensation fields and whatnot. And it looks like more time is now granted. So we have until August 17th to come into compliance with these new changes. No doubt a lot is changing. And as these changes take place, we're starting to see other people make change in their business model. Zillow last week rolled out a touring agreement that they're using with buyers. They're going to be prompting this on screen. Buyers will have to agree to this when they go in and schedule that time through showing time to meet with one of the Zillow premier agents. Now, this caused quite a ruckus online. There were a lot of realtors that were not very happy with this touring agreement. And did you see it? What are your thoughts? It's so interesting because there's kind of like two sides to this equation. Some people think that this puts the consumer first and it's good. It kind of allows a buyer to go in and have a free look at a home without committing to that buyer's agent. And then there's this whole other side that feels like this is devaluing the buyer agent, and by not securing a commission through this touring agreement, that it is devaluing the buyer agent and their role in the transaction. So really interested to hear what you think as far as this goes. And it's going to be really interesting to see if this serves as a guide for maybe other online real estate platforms. Maybe they start to adopt something similar. No doubt, we talked about how a lot is changing. It's starting, it's happening. Zillow unleashed this just last week. And Arthur has some good insight here. Zillow will have to make adjustments in some states. Yeah, absolutely. Some states, this may not fly and it may not work, and they'll have to pivot and adjust from there. So it's going to be really interesting. And NAR is releasing guidance on what this agreement, this buyer agreement, may contain. Now, they're not going to be actually providing one. It'll be something that we use state by state. But again, changes are coming, and we know that anytime change happens, it's like that anthill that's just gets stepped on and all the little ants go everywhere. And so I'm just really fascinated to see what's going to come out of all of this and how this kind of progresses. So would love to know your thoughts on the touring agreement. Have you seen it? Did you hate it? Did you love it? Were you kind of indifferent? Just wondering what the pulse is of our members here at Zoodealio and what you guys are thinking about this agreement. So no doubt, we know that a lot of homeowners are locked into very low interest rates. So I found this data fascinating. This shows the effective mortgage rate of outstanding mortgages on average across the US. And so as you're looking at this, what it means is, for instance, I'm in Arizona, and so the effective mortgage rate for all of the mortgages in Arizona is 3.9%. So pretty darn low. If you're in Texas, the effective mortgage rate on all outstanding mortgages is 4.2%. Same with Florida, so forth and so on. You can find your state, hone in, see what that effective mortgage rate is in your state. Now, we know that this lock-in effect has definitely played a role in our low transaction count. Last year, we were just record low transaction count. This year, transactions are pacing about the same. There are some analysts that believe it may end up at par with last year, maybe a little bit lower, maybe a little bit higher, but no doubt we're not seeing the transactional volume that we were. And this is largely the reason why. And so as you look at the landscape of sellers, we know that a lot of sellers are locked into a very low rate. And so they're considering alternatives. And I'm going to get to that in a moment. What I believe is really top of mind for all sellers right now that are contemplating selling their home. There is an impact that this has had on transactions. And the next slide is very telling. This is the home sales lost due to the lock-in effect. And so you can find your state, you can see what the estimated home sales that were lost. This is an estimate from the Federal Housing Finance Agency between Q2 2022 and Q4 of 2023. So for instance, if you're in Texas, it looks like we had a loss of about 125,000 home sales. This is a lot of home sales. So think about this. This is the home sale, and typically on each transaction, there's a different agent. And so for instance, in Texas, approximately 250,000 agents that year did not get a paycheck, right? So the implications of this have been massive on real estate, massive on economic activity. We know that every home sale produces economic activity. And so to see this is just really telling of kind of where we are. I do have some slides to show you in just a moment though, that may indicate we're easing up on this. And there is a fabulous way that you can take advantage of what I'm calling this pent up seller demand. There are people that are in their homes no longer serve their needs, or maybe they've just been through a major life change, which we know is a catalyst to move. And those folks are going to be bringing that inventory to market soon. I hope that you are the one that can capture that attention from them and take those listings. So interest rates, sadly, are a little bit higher now. We did see some reprieve earlier this year, but they've kind of worked their way back up. We know that the Fed has not cut rates yet, and their meeting last week did indicate that maybe a cut was coming. We didn't see a raise, which was good, but we're just kind of remaining flat. So most of the rate increases have been priced into the market. There was a little bit of an uptick in rates. We haven't really seen that come down. What I think is interesting is if you look at this chart here, this shows that for the past 2 years, rates went from, 30-year fix went from about 5.3, and now we know it's up over 7. So all these folks, what I find interesting is when we were, as an industry, I'm not saying you, not saying me, but when as an industry, there was the whole term, marry the house and date the rate, thinking that if you locked in, for instance, to maybe one of these 6 interest rates, or maybe it had a 7 handle, that you would be able to quickly refi. We have not seen that happen, right? We've not seen that sort of reprieve in interest rates. And so probably not the best thing to be saying any longer, which I doubt you are. Probably something we should eliminate from our vocabulary and not use those terms, because rates may still remain in the 7s, high 6s for a bit. And it's going to be really interesting. The election is coming, and we all believe that that has an impact on real estate. I mean, I sure do. I see it every cycle. It does seem like rates tend to come down and real estate kind of booms shortly after an election. Federal Chair Jerome Powell did say that the elections have no bearing. There's no political ties. Not sure what you make out of that. However, it is going to be really interesting to see what happens over the next few months and how that impacts real estate. But we do know that affordability is on the decline. And Redfin released this, which I found to be really interesting, said that nearly 40% of homeowners couldn't afford their same house if they were to buy it at today's value. So we know that prices have went up. They're not really coming down substantially. Now, there are micro markets. All real estate is hyper local, and so there are markets where we are seeing some prices come down, a little bit of break on that. However, by and large, nationally, we have not seen a reprieve in prices yet. So all of this is just so fascinating for me, because meanwhile, the other side of the equation is inventory and what that's doing. It is ticking up ever so slightly. So this shows the amount of active listings, active inventory for sale. This was published by Lance Lambert. He has Resi Club. It's fascinating. I love it. I'm a member of Resi Club. Highly recommend it. I think it's like $100 and something bucks for a year, very affordable. But Lance Lambert was the former real estate editor for Fortune. And so he brings a lot of really great insights to real estate. He analyzed the data and kind of showed us how we're tracking now versus April's of the past. And as you'll see, we do have a little bit more inventory than last April, which is great news, more than the April before that, which is also great news, because that's the other side of the equation. When we're working with buyers, what do we have to show them? And what we know is there's just not a ton of homes available. The last time we had this many homes on the market was October of 2020. So we're kind of going back to then. What is going to happen with all of this inventory is likely just going to be absorbed. We do know that we still have a housing shortage nationally. And I found this quote from the chief economist for First American and thought it was really interesting. So what he says is there's an average estimate of about 3 million units of housing under supply. So we need 3 million housing units. So currently there's about 1.7 million housing units under construction. That includes apartments and homes. And so if all of those units came to market tomorrow, ready to sell or to lease, and then there were no new additional household formations, no second home sales or destruction of homes, then that's still only a bit more than half of what's needed to meet the consensus shortage. For me, it's just telling of where we're at with price stability and how prices likely won't come down because houses are still needed. And so what does this mean for home sellers? Well, they're sitting back and they're Googling selling my house more than they were a year ago. And what I uncovered is there is an increase, a 21% increase in sellers on Google searching sell my house year over year. And this is really interesting, guys. This is that pent up demand that I'm talking about. And these individuals, these folks are sitting back and they're thinking, is now the time? Should I sell my house? And so as they're sitting around and they're Googling this, they're also Googling other things alongside this. Here are the top search terms in relation to sell my house. So we know that your cash offerings are more powerful now more than ever. Number one is, should I sell my house or should I wait until 2025? You know, this kind of thought has been at the forefront of sellers' minds for over a year. We saw this in 2022, late half of 2022. They were Googling, should I sell my house now or should I wait till 2023? And then in 2023, this continued to be a top Google search term. Should I sell my house now or should I wait until 2024? And now we're seeing these folks that are sitting around and they're asking themselves, should I sell my house now or should I wait until 2025? And so we know that they want to make a move, but likely, as we saw from the map, they're locked into a really low interest rate, and they know that's an asset, and they don't want to trade up into a higher mortgage rate. There was a fascinating article. In fact, I think I'm going to make a green screen on it and post it on my socials, but a fascinating article about how if we did what they did in the UK, and if mortgages could travel with the person instead of the house, it could ease this lock-in effect and really be a solution to our inventory kind of crunch and our inventory just kind of lack of stagnation right now, I feel, in the housing market. And so that was a really interesting article that came out and talked about how in different parts of the world, the mortgage goes with the person. It doesn't stay with the house. And I thought, that is an interesting thought. Haven't spent a ton of time thinking about it, but just on the surface, it seemed like it might be a good idea. No doubt, though, folks are Googling if now's a good time or not. And then, of course, they're also Googling, they want to sell fast. When they're ready, they're ready. They don't want to wait. They want to go now. They want to sell their house for cash. We know that cash offers are all of the buzz. When they get those numbers, though, we also know that likely they will list their house on the open market. The acceptance rate of cash offers is very, very low. We're the first to share that with you. That is your main opportunity with your Zoodealio cash offers. It's to get those cash offers, to give the consumer all of their offers and options in one place to compare alongside what you, the professional in their market, can sell their house for on the open market, and then let them make the best decision that's right for them. The other beautiful thing about the cash offers, and I just want to drive this in a little bit because you've got to use it as a hedge. You're going to have folks that want to sell. They were interested in cash. They were interested in selling fast. Maybe they saw that the amount that they could get for their home via a cash offer wasn't quite as much as if they took their home to market. So they take their home to market, and then all of a sudden it's not moving in the time frame that they want it to be sold within. And so you can use the cash offers as a hedge against the open market. That is a unique value proposition only you can bring to them. Who else, what other agent in town can say to them, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I know that you want to try to maximize your return on the open market, but I also understand we're working within a tight time constraint. If the home doesn't sell during this time frame, you can always revisit these cash offer options. It's so beautiful. It's going to set you apart from all of the competition. And then also we know that folks are curious if they should be renting their house and keeping it versus selling it. And so I want to give you today some scripting that you can use to really go into all of these different things that are on the top of the mind of sellers. So as you're thinking through these scripts, what I really would encourage you to do is use them in your marketing. So maybe you send out emails to your database. Well, take these and turn them into an email and send them out to your database. Maybe you're really good with connecting with your people on Facebook and you private message your people on Facebook. Well, then use this messaging to connect with them on Facebook. Maybe you're really great in Facebook groups. Make videos of these and post them into Facebook groups. Post them onto your Instagram. Post them as a YouTube short. YouTube shorts are just blowing up right now. But all of the things can be done with these scripts. The key is that you've got to be the one that's bringing this message to the marketplace. And they need to see you as the leader in these solutions. And you're going to look genius too, because you're going to be answering the questions that they're already thinking. And because of that, because you're going to that place, that's just a little bit more nitty gritty. You're going to connect with them on a much more visceral level. And so I have some slides for you with scripting for messaging on all of the things that we kind of just unpacked. Should I sell my house now or should I wait? Here is it can be a video script, it can be an email script. I'm not going to read it, but you've got it here for you. If you would like a copy of my slides, happy to send them to you. You can get them one of two ways. You can just reply back to me, Kayla@Zoodealio.com. I'm happy to send them to you. Or if you get this email from Zoodealio and you're watching this on the replay, just reply to the email that you got this video from, and we're happy to send those to you as well. But yeah, this is a great one for should I sell my house or should I wait? Here's another one about selling your house fast and kind of speaking to that messaging. We know that folks don't want their home on the market for very long. And I have a funny story about this too, because see, even us in real estate take for granted what it's like to actually list our own homes. And I have a great example of this. One of the gals here at Zoodealio, Kai, she does a lot of our social media. She teaches a social media class once a week. She's just a wonderful, amazing human. She is relocating and she's selling her home. And as she's selling her home, it's been on the market for just a couple weeks and she's already bemoaning the process. And we kind of laugh and chuckle because even us in real estate, every day that the home is on the market feels like a week, maybe even longer. And there's so much uncertainty around it. Am I going to get a showing request? Are they going to actually show up? Are they going to give feedback to my agent? So all of the things that come along with selling your home are stressful. And many times when people get into that situation, they underestimate the toll that it will take on them. So speak to how they could accomplish their goal quickly, and this is a great script for you to do that. Okay, how about selling for cash? Again, comes up on the tippity top of the list always when people are looking to sell their home. They're wanting a fast cash exit. So talk to that, show them what that looks like, give them your cash offer link, allow them to enter their address and get those cash offers to see where they stand in real time. Now, I gotta plug our upcoming blast report because we've been working hard at Zoodealio on something that, quite frankly, when we show it to you, it's gonna blow your socks off. It's incredible, it's amazing. I cannot tell you how excited I am over what we're building. We are in the middle of our development cycle right now, but our updated blast report is chock full of really cool insights about the homeowner's home and gives them their cash offer options, shows them a graph of their cash offer value compared to their market value, and also answers all of the other questions that they're having. So we're giving them that rent analysis, that analysis of short-term rental, long-term rental, all of the things. You guys are absolutely going to love it. So I would be encouraging you to get your lists ready, get them uploaded in Blast now. So when that new report is unleashed, your people are the first to have it. It's absolutely incredible. And then another one that is just answering the questions that are on the top of mind of sellers is, should I sell my house or rent it? Again, such a meaty question that they're thinking, and you want to be the one that lets them know it is okay to connect with you about these questions. We know that real estate is all about having conversations. We know that the more real estate conversations we have, the more contracts we're going to have, and the more contracts we have, the more closings that we're going to have. And so how do you get in more real estate conversations? I believe it's going where other agents aren't going, speaking to the things that are truly keeping sellers up at night, and then inviting them to reach out to you as the trusted resource to learn more about that topic, to tell you about their certain situation. And once you get them and once you hook them in with something that they're already thinking about, well, then you can really explain their options. You can learn more about them and their needs. And if you're anything like me, as soon as they start to open up to you, you ask brilliant questions, you really understand where they're coming from, and then you put them on that path to accomplishing that real estate goal that they have. So those are, I would highly, highly encourage you to take those and to use them and to implement them into your business. They will serve you tremendously. Okay, I want to share with you how one Zoodealio member made their seller an extra $112,000 more when it came to selling their house. So here's the beautiful thing. With the cash offerings, there is a cash offer structure that will allow the seller to reap the benefits of making more for their home on the open market. It's kind of a way that the seller can flip their own home without having to spend a dime out of pocket, without having to actually hire and manage the contractors, and without having to live in the home while it's being renovated and updated. And so I love this strategy. I'm hot on it, and I'm showing before and afters, it seems, every week because they excite me. I get excited about this, and I get excited about the fact that you have these options and offers to bring out into your marketplace. And let me tell you, even though the Zoodealio network is growing, like, we are hearing stories of agents that are going head to head and listing conversation or listing appointments, and they each have Zoodealio, and so that's always interesting. But by and large, even though we're now approaching that 10,000 agent mark in Zoodealio, you're likely probably one of the few in your marketplace that is adopting and using it, right? And so your competition is so small. And so likely when you're walking into a listing appointment or when you're sharing your offers and options, you're probably the only one that's bringing these fresh ideas to the marketplace. And this is a game changer. The flip your own home strategy is such a game changer. I love it. I'm passionate about it. We see it unfolding in markets across the US, and we see it truly changing people's lives and making them a lot more money. So here's a home in Jacksonville, Florida. So for my Florida people today, here you are. Jacksonville is, or Florida in general, we have a lot of We have a lot of activity in Florida right now. And I know that certain parts of Florida, they're saying maybe overvalued. We know insurance is tricky in Florida. There are a lot of things. We know that hurricane season is coming for Florida. And so very interesting. You folks in Florida have a lot to grapple with, but no doubt this home in Jacksonville really benefited from the cash plus with repair offering. And this was the strategy that allows the seller to flip their own home. And so what happens is the buyer makes an offer, and how that works is you either enter the address on your agent dashboard by clicking the Get Cash Offers button, or maybe they come in from your landing page, or maybe you're buying leads and you're using Zapier and those leads are automatically getting that cash offer fulfilled for them. Maybe you have people on blast and they're clicking the cash offer options and exploring those options on blast. However they're coming into your ecosystem, they're getting that instant preliminary offer. Now, with the instant number, keep in mind that it is the buyer's goal to hit that number at market value. It doesn't do the seller any favors if the offer is higher or even lower, because if the offer is higher, keep in mind, this is the offer structure where the buyer takes a reserve, which is a portion of the seller's equity that's set aside until the home is sold on the open market by you. And then once it's sold on the open market, if it sells for that same cash offer price, 100% of that reserve is returned to the seller. But it is a hedge. And so keep in mind that if the home sells for less, that difference is going to be backed out and the remaining portion of the reserve will be returned. Now, the beautiful thing about the reserve is if the home sells for more on the open market, not only is 100% of the reserve returned, but that upside of the open market is also returned to the seller. And so in a situation where a home needs a little bit of work, maybe it needs a light refresh, or maybe it needs a rehab, whatever the case may be, the beautiful thing is once you get that offer, if the number works for the seller, then you accept the offer. The buyer will do a home inspection. During that inspection period, they will propose a list of repairs. And if the seller is agreeable to those repairs and would like to move forward with that strategy, at that point, they have all of the numbers in front of them to make an informed, intelligent decision, and they can say yes or no. Because keep in mind, the seller has to agree to make these repairs because it's coming out of their equity. So they're paying for the cost of these repairs in the anticipation of selling the home on the open market for a higher sales price. Okay, so that was just a quick recap of how that works. And we do have tomorrow at Zoodealio at 9 a.m. Arizona time, we have an offers training class. So if you're interested in that, we go through all of the different offers and options and kind of get into the nitty gritty of how they all work. We do them on the first Tuesday of every month. However, we are adding additional offers trainings, so be on the lookout for that. We just have such an influx of new members coming in that we want to be there for you to answer your questions and all of that as much as possible. By the way, I gotta give a shout out to my team. Maybe when you joined Zoodealio, you met with maybe Tori or Tyler or Austin or Jeremy. Those are kind of our front end customer success representatives here at Zoodealio, and they are just crushing it. I think last week they met with 91 new Zoodealio members, and I mean that's a lot of Zooms, right? That's a lot of one-on-ones with members across the US. So gotta give a shout out to them. They're just doing so great. And then also I just want to invite you for feedback. If you have feedback on what we're doing here at Zoodealio, on ways that we can improve or innovate, we would love to hear that as well. And oh, by the way, you're going to be blown away at the changes that we have coming for you. They're so cool. I talked a little bit about the Blast update. We're doing other things to your agent dashboard. We're giving you more functionality. You're going to love it. Stay tuned for that. You'll start to see, even as early as next week, we're rolling out a new landing page for you. It's phenomenal. This new landing page has really been tried and tested and is proven to lead gen better. So really, really pumped about all of the new things coming your way. All right, back to this property, back to how the agent made this seller $112,000 more. So we just had a home and it just needed a refresh. It was just a little bit tired. As you'll see, after the home was painted, it just looked so much better. Again, interior was just a little old, a little worn out, a little tired. And we know with prices the way they are, and with interest rates the way that they are, that a lot of buyers don't want to walk into a buying situation having to put more money into the home. And so we know that move-in ready and just bring your toothbrush, unpack your suitcase, you're good to go. We know that that's what buyers want right now. And so a lot of times what's happening to the inventory that needs a little bit of work is it's selling for undervalue and taking longer. So again, just needed a little bit, the color, the carpet, just kind of, old worn out linoleum, that sort of thing. So after it looked so much better, here was just the kitchen before. This home in particular did have a complete kitchen remodel done. So just looked absolutely beautiful after, updated, fresh, clean, light. Whatever words you want to use to describe it, they work. It was just phenomenal. Even the fireplace looks completely different. And I'm told that there was nothing done to the fireplace, but just being in that new space with the new paint, new flooring, new cabinets made that fireplace really pop and look awesome. So again, before, just kind of tired and dark and older. They removed the soffit in the kitchen so we could have larger uppers, which was really cool. Opened up the space, made it feel a lot larger than it was. The bathrooms didn't get a whole lot done to them, but what was done was definitely needed and just kind of neutralized the space, refreshed the space. Again, things that a lot of sellers don't have the time or the energy or the money to do on their own. And so you come to them with a strategy on how they can take advantage of this with the equity that they already have in the property and enhance that resale value, and you are the rock star. So this was the after of that one. Here was another before, another after. Again, we just know that these things make such a difference when it comes to selling your home. And if we were to bring this house to market in that condition, sure, you're going to find that buyer, you're going to have someone that's willing to put that work and that money into it. But likely what's going to happen is you're going to sell under value and, won't maximize that return. So that was another before, another after. Again, it just makes such a difference to do these things before you bring the house to market. I'm going to also show you the financial breakdown of how they were able to make much more money on the home sale. So the as-is value of that home was $535,000. It sold in about 2 weeks for $780,000. $780,000. And the agent was so surprised at the price that the house was able to sell for on the open market because of the way that it looked. The value increase on this one was almost $250,000. So even when you take out the repair cost, even when you deduct out the program fee, the seller still made an extra $112,000. This strategy is game changing. You're likely the only one in your market that's got it, or you're competing with a very few select realtors that have it. And so use the strategy to your advantage and really be looking for those value adds that you could bring to a home that would increase it. If you see a seller that's got a home where if it just had a little bit extra, it would sell for way more, please bring them this offering, show them the strategy that they could use, not only to have a quick home sale, to sell fast, to not have to deal with the showings and the open houses and all of that uncertainty, but also show them how we could go in and maximize their ROI by fixing up the home and for it selling for more on the open market. So it looks like I've got a couple people here that are asking for slides. Yes, let me try and get these copied now so that I don't, once I close the Zoom, I feel like those are gone. I know there's a way to get the notes, but I don't know how. Much easier if you shoot me a quick email at my email address, kayla@zoodealio.com, because then I can just reply right back to you. And Delisa, hello, how are you? Glad to have you today. Where can I find the rent versus sell analysis referenced in the script you shared? Great question. So that's going to be something that you're going to have to create for them on your own right now. The beautiful thing is, with our updated blast report, you will have that at your fingertips for every single home that you load into Blast. So we're working on it for you. For now, if you want to share with them an analysis, basically you would just run a simple calculation of what the home could rent for versus what it could sell for, and then maybe price out appreciation over the next 3 years on an average rate for your market so that they can see what their home would appreciate over those next 3 years. And then maybe just deduct out, if they were to sell, their selling costs, if they were to rent, their renting costs, and then give them those two numbers. And that's essentially how the rent versus sell calculator on the Blast report is going to work. In fact, we have been holding off showing it. We've been holding off on showing the updated Blast report until we're closer to release. And we're still probably, I don't even want to estimate. I don't even want to tell you yet. But what I will share is sometime over the next few weeks, we will be showing you what that updated report looks like so that you can see it, see what's coming down, get excited about it. I think the biggest thing that I could stress on you is to get your list of homeowners ready. Now, you may have your list of people already, so if you're working your database and you have your sellers segmented, you may already have that in place. But I would also encourage you to start maybe making some other lists. So we're hearing a lot of agents having great success by demographically farming. And so what they're doing is they're finding maybe homeowners that have lived in their home for, 15 years. Maybe they have a 2-story and maybe they're a little bit, maybe they're older, maybe they're in their 60s. So individuals that are very likely to move soon. And what agents are doing is compiling those lists of demographic homeowners and uploading them into Blast, having great success with that. So be thinking of other individuals. So you could do demographic. You maybe even, you have a geographic farm and you want to pull in the geographic data. You can do that as well. One last thing I want to leave you with today. So the team has been working hard on a guidebook for you. And I want to pull it up and just quickly show you this. It's really cool, really phenomenal resource for you. So as you're looking to incorporate Zoodealio maybe more deeply into your business, what this book is going to do is give you the scripts, the easy, quick, at a fingertip scripts that you need, maybe if you're thinking of different lead gen methods, those. So as you go through it, what you're going to see is that we kind of are breaking down all of the different ways that you can incorporate the cash offer hook into your business, from your database, maybe your people that you know, the people that you don't know, maybe your prospecting. So different ways that you can prospect with this, maybe your geo farming, maybe your circle prospecting, maybe your absentee owner list hunting, maybe you're going after canceled, expireds. So this book is going to break down the different segments of that. And I know that our team has been working really hard on it. And I believe Elliot's been showing it as well, but I just wanted you all to have this resource. So as you kind of dive deeper into your business and incorporating this cash offer hook, you have it available for you. And it's just an interesting time. It's such an interesting time in real estate. And my take on change is massive opportunity. So I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see how things transform. I'm excited to see what innovations come out of this. I think that there's so many cool things that are happening.